Good morning, friends. New day, new project, and today here I have something a little bit different. Beautiful. Now you might think, oh, I've seen one of these on your channel before, and well, you actually haven't, but you've seen one similar. This is very, very similar to my Antoria I owned originally, except mine had gold hardware. This is not an Antoria, it is a Hondo. But not an early Hondo, it's a Hondo Revival, so I imagine this is a mid to late 80s model. Could be a little bit earlier. I mean, I did have a Hondo Revival Explorer which I toured with in 86, 87 with concrete socks. So it's probably mid 80s. Very, very well built guitar. It's got a label inside the top F hole there. I don't think you're going to be able to read anything in there, so I'll read it for you. Hondo, International Music Corporation, so it's Korean made. Model H-935. I imagine it's, I don't know what the body was made of. Normally you go, is it maple? I'm not sure. Could be older. Looks like maple to me, but I don't know. What kind of grain is that? Is a maple have that grain? I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. Pickups could be, in my Antoria I had Kent Armstrong design pickups by Sky. Is it Sky Pickups or Skyline Pickups in Korea? Faber type bridge, it will not be a Faber. And a regular stock piece here. Tuners, yeah, they are Grovers. Grover kidney bean tuners. Guitar is white binding. It has a black plastic nut or a resin nut. Black pick guard. So what's this coming for? Well, frets are worn, so it's going to have a complete fret level. Basically it's going to have a fret skim. It's going to wear a flat room. I'm going to re-crown them. I'm also going to oik the electrics because they're all scratching. They're going to come out of the F hole. I'm going to clean all them up, check all the solder, probably reflow the solder, get some switch cleaner in there into the three-way and everything. Make sure everything is working fine. And it will have a complete setup. So this guitar is having the works. We'll also do things like we'll treat the fingerboard with some mineral oil, lemon oil as you know it as. It's not actually lemon oil because that would rip the guitar to pieces. It's actually especially combined and formulated mineral oil for rosewood and ebony necks with a hint of lemon, probably lemon scent, lemon juice in there just to give it a nice smell. So it's not actually lemon oil. Lemon oil would not be any good for your guitar. So it's going to have the lot. So we'll do everything. We'll check that the tuners are all working fine. We'll tighten all the screws up there, make sure they're all sat fine, make sure everything has got a good solid foundation. We'll tighten them screws. We're going to replace the nut. I've been and bought a, I can find it. I bought Graphtec nut, I always go with Graphtec. Black Tusk, T-U-S-Q, which is man-made. It's not real Tusk, we haven't killed an elephant. We wouldn't do that. Man-made Tusk in black. I bought it slightly oversized, so we know we're going to get it. I'll shave that down, file it down, and we'll get that absolutely bang on. Made in Canada. Everything good's made in Canada. These are £10 delivered. You can't complain. Great price. Much better than getting bone, and you're not killed an animal or an elephant, have you? So that will be going on there. Everything else should be absolutely fine. I think the pots will all be fine. I'll find out when I have got them out through the F hole. So there's a good shift in this guitar. You know, it could probably take me a day and a half because I'm taking my time, I'm not rushing anything. Very, very nice guitar. Plays very well. The lad also asked me my opinion on the pickups and should he change them. He was going to look at some iron gears, probably the blues engines. I says, well, I'll test them and I'll see what I think. Well, I've had this guitar plugged in and I think these pickups are fine. They're about 7.5k, 8.5k output on each, which is about right for a PAF pickup. Sound absolutely fine to me. I see no reason why we should change them. If he gets it back and decides he wants to change them somewhere down the line, I would suggest we go with some nice iron gears. I just installed some blues engines on a friend's guitar, on a good Ibanez Art Series guitar. Absolutely bought the guitar to life. Beautiful, beautiful pickups. I've always been a big fan of Seymour Duncans myself. I've had Seymour Duncans in lots of my guitars, and the last few years I've been experimenting. I've been having guitar pickups made. These are made by Fletcher pickups. I had a set made, a Purgatory and a Heaven. I have no guitar for these at the moment. The Purgatory is really hot. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Alnico 5, 14.3k, that measures. And the heaven, it should be 7.6, I believe, but I had it one hotter to 8.9, nice hot heaven there. Which is an Alnico 2 magnet, gives beautiful cleans on the neck. I'll be sticking them in one of my guitars soon. Wouldn't they look wonderful in something like this? I think they would, but the pickups are going to be too hot for the guy. So I don't see the point of changing these pickups. If you go in and change them, what's the point of changing them like for like? What's the point of changing a pair of puff pickups with another pair of puff pickups built by someone else? I personally think this guitar sounds absolutely fine. It sounds every bit as good as my Antoria did. So without further ado, I am going to check the setup on this guitar, check the intonation. We're going to restring with, I think we're going to go with 10s. I'm not sure, he might have said 9s, I'll have to check with him. If he's going with 9s, we'll go with some Ernie Ball Slinkers. If he's going with 10s, we'll go with some Diodario XL110s. And see where we are with that. So like I say, it's going to have a 4-bit. It is going to go on the neck jig, which is behind me. There's already a guitar on that. As you can see, that's just finished off. We'll just finish polishing the frets on that one, so that can come off now. All I need to do is set that guitar up, and that is ready to go out. This one will be going on that jig, having all the frets levelled. We'll go across with a not straight edge, as you do. Make sure the neck's straight. We'll level all the frets, recrown them. That's the first thing we're going to do. So check back later. So back briefly with the Hondo Revival H-935, made in Korea. I've checked the intonation. I've altered a couple of strings, but the intonation's fine, the action's okay. We are now going to explain why we're changing the parts. Now you see why we need to some crackles sometimes, not others. That one seems alright, but what we're going to do is, because we need to get some switch cleaner in there, all of these have to come out, and because there's no back cavity on this guitar or any of these type of guitars, 335 types, we have to take the whole loom out through the F-hole. Now we can't do that with the scratch plate on this, so to remove the plate, we undo each one. We'll remove the knobs, there you go, remove the knobs like so. Some will come off easy, some won't, these won't. I've got a way to get these off, don't worry about that. Remove everything. We're going to have to take them all out, and it comes in one line of wiring. It'll probably go, the wiring will probably go from pickups, it'll go to here, it'll go here, 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 loop round and come to here. It will be in one big loom, in one big series of wiring. So blah 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 blah. And we'll have to bring it all out through this F-hole, drag it all out, put it in a long line and clean everything up. Now to get these back in can be a right pain, but I have a good way of getting them back in, a good way of doing that. And what I have always used is, I use a piece of tubing, rubber tubing that should fit just over each pot, which it does. And I'll cut 4 lengths. I've got plenty of this. I've got some wider stuff as well, and we'll just heat that up slightly so it fits over the pot, or we'll get some wider stuff, and what we'll do is just shove that through it, and we'll pull that through the F-hole, through the hole in the body there. We'll obviously thread it through the hole in the body, pull that back round and through. A bit of a pain to do, but it's not, you know, it's one of the best ways we can do it. I've got 2 different thicknesses of this. That's how we're going to be doing that. I may film it or I may not, but the next thing for me to do now is to make sure the neck does go straight. I've already checked that, already checked the truss rod. You can get the neck straight, no problem. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to remove them strings. We'll discard them, get rid of them, remove all these parts here, and what we'll do is we'll get the electrics sorted first, get them out, get them cleaned up, get them back in. Once that's done, we can start looking at the frets. So stay tuned, I'll be back again soon. I'm also going to show you a way to remove knobs from the pots when they're a little bit stubborn. I'm going to zoom in for this. Right, where are we? There you go, you can see enough there, I believe. We're going to have to. What we do is, if we're a bit stubborn, they can't, we're not just pulling up, take a cloth, loop it under, round, pinch it together at this end. Once you've got it pinched together, just pull on, just pull it, and it's going to pull the knob straight off. show you that again. You probably won't see from there, but all you do is you take your club, you pinch it together where it joins, right, and all you do is then just pull it. Got them straight off. There you go. All 4 of them knobs are off. Now it's just a matter of getting a spanner, undoing these and popping them all through. You have to undo the 3-way and the input jack. It will all come out of this F-hole together in one go. What we'll do is I'm likely going to mark all these, which one is which, or I'll take them off one at a time. I'll put a little sticker on the back. Just got a little bit of tape. Put a little sticker on the back saying where these go, because you don't want to get them mixed up. Normally you can feel where the loom goes, and the loom goes from there. It goes to this pot first. I've got fingers struck, that's good. I've done that before. And I would imagine it's going to loop round. That will be the last one in the chain, I imagine. Anyway, I'll let you know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Back soon. Another thing you could do, by the way, to not get your pots mixed up before you remove them, is you could colour code them, like so. And I don't know if you can see all of that, but I've colour coded these all. I've only got 3 colours, but I've colour coded them 3 different colours, well, 4 different colours. I've got black, blue, red, and I've got red and blue. But what you do with that is, that may not mean anything for you, remember that. What you do is you make a map. You always make a little map, just to help you along your way, corresponding with each one. And there you go. You have got the red. The red and blue, the blue and the black, and there you've got your, what you got down here, you've got your jack there and your 3-way there, so you know where you are. So that corresponds exactly with what I've done on the guitar, I believe, from this angle, because I'm looking at the guitar this way. I'll be looking at it, it's upside down to you now, but that matches, and that to me makes sense, because when I'm working at it from this side, you see, there you go. So in effect it is upside down for you, but I'll be working on the guitar from this angle, from this way. So to me, it'll be absolutely bang on. And we know where we're going to be when we put them back in. So now I can crack on with that. I've decided I'm not going to take the strings off just yet. I'm going to sort out the electrics first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out each pot. I could do it with them still in the guitar. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get some switch cleaner. In this case, Service-Old Super 10, which is what I've always used, good switch cleaner. And I'm going to squirt some of that inside the pots, from a stem at the top and from a gap at the bottom of the pot where the lugs are. We'll squirt some of that in there. We'll give each pot a little wiggly woo there, and we'll get the contacts all cleaned up. We'll also blow out any dust that's in there or anything, and we should fix all of that scratching. There's a little bit on the input jack as well. That will need a wipe. It's just a build-up of grime or carbon deposits or whatever over the years. It's something we should do every couple of years, I think, to maintain the guitar. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'll come and show you the guts of the guitar outside the guitar once I have them out. So, cleaning the electrics or cleaning the pots is a pretty straightforward affair. Your 2-tone pots have capacitors, so very easy to identify. And all that you do is it's a matter of getting in. Don't know if you can see that. I'll try and get you a little bit closer. It's a matter of getting into the pot itself. Now if you look behind the lugs here, there's a gap underneath the pot cap itself, or the pot casing. And all you do is you get some Service-Old and you give it a good shake and you give it a squirt inside, get some Service-Old in there, some switch cleaner, and you just basically let it all soak in, turn it upside down for a little while, let it all soak through, clean it all, and you'll now notice that we've got it in the middle position. There's no crackling. I've also done this 3-way. There's no crackling anywhere now on any of the parts. We're all good. So we have fixed that particular problem. There's a little bit, hang on. Sometimes you get it if you just touch the wire. That's good. And again, all good. You get a bit if you touch a couple of wires with your thumb. Another little thing I've noticed, the earth wire was wrapped round one of the pots and round the 3-way. The wire is actually broken there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to blob a little bit of solder in there just to strengthen that area, and then we're going to wrap some tape around it so it doesn't short on anything. And then we are going to go and get all these pots and the 3-way and the jack connection all back in. Again, this is crackling because I'm touching with 2 terminals. So we're all good there. I've cleaned this with a bit of Service-Sol and a little bit of steel wool. So now we're all good to get them back in the guitar. What I'll do is I'll get them all back in and I'll come and show you the last one. I will get it in using the tubing. One little problem I've got is these pots all have a holding washer goes on the stem before it comes through the guitar, and they've all fell inside the guitar. So I'll be getting a long nose plier, pulling all those out, getting them over the pot and getting them all back in. But what I will do first is I'll decide how I'm going to route these pickups, and this is why I do, or I make a little map like so. So I'll find out how those are going to go. It should be pretty straightforward. Red, red and blue, round to black, round to blue, round to black. So it'll go in that type of, it'll go in that way. This will come under here, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'll get it all routed, following the map, and we'll start getting stuff back in. So back again, and I've got the first 2 pots pulled through, and I'll show you how I keep the pots where I need them to be, because the washer and the nut or the screw or whatever are not big enough to go over this tubing. So what I've got to do, what I've done is, you'll notice I've nipped just gently holding the pot with a lock-in plier, commonly known as a mole grip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tube like so, and hopefully we're going to get this on. Is that the right washer? Looks like the right washer, just a bit upside down. And we're going to put on the nut. Now the thing is, we need to keep a hold of this. Then we need to nip it back if we can get enough of a mole grip on there. Like so, and there you go. It's not going to fall through now. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this nut to bite. We'll move out of the way just slightly. What we're going to do is get the nut to bite. A little bit fiddly, as you can see, but you can see we've got it on there. We've got the pot and the nut back on. Now what we'll do is we'll tighten this. Chances are, if we turn that all the way around, if we've got it in the position we need it to be, it should be an 11mm, which it is. And that one is in. There you go. We're going to do the same with the next one. I'm going to zoom in slightly for this one. I think you can see where we are there. Again, always protecting the surface. I mean, you don't have to do this. You know, it's just showing you just on camera. Make sure we are right in where we need to be. Again, washer. I'm just going to hold this one. I'm not going to put the plier back on because I don't think I have enough room, to be honest with you. And I'm just going to try and get that to bite just by spinning it like so. And I have done. And what we'll do is we'll get his finger underneath there. Not always the easiest thing to do. It can be a tricky manoeuvre. Making sure we've not got anything trapped underneath. You don't want to go too mental on the thread on these. So here we go. And we are following the map. Red, red and blue, blue, black, which corresponds to red, red and blue, blue and black. Got plenty of room to get these 2 in now. These will go in really, really easily. Once that's done, I've already got that in, did that by hand. To get this in, I will be using, in fact I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to show you how we get that in, because nothing is going to get in the way of that now. I fashioned a tool few years ago, which is, okay, we're a bit close, let me just zoom out. This tool here, and it's a jack, 1/4 inch jack, welded, I say welded, soldered onto a 0.013 gauge guitar string. And I took a piece of dowel to make a handle, blah blah blah, and there's the gubbins, can you see that? And that's where we are. Yep, and what we're going to do is we're going to feed this through the hole. Now I'm going to pull the jack out through the F-hole, as you do, like so. I'm going to take jack, hope it's all on camera, that's good. And now I'm going to pull it through. I've got it through there. As that, I knew this hole was tight anyway, so we're just going to put on the washer. I have no way of holding this and tightening it, so I'm going to hope that just tighten it like this is going to be enough. I'm sure it's going to be okay. Seems alright. We'll soon find out, because what we'll do is we'll put it in and test it. I should really be using a spanner for this, but okay, and that is in and tight. What we're going to do is we're going to test it, blah blah blah. Test it, we're all good. We're on the bridge pickup, make sure I've got this the right way around. And we are. Yep, absolutely fantastic. So we're all good there. Also, oh yes, I did take some screws out of one pickup just to see what brand they were, and they have no sticker on there, so these are just a generic brand. I would imagine these are possibly made by Artec in Korea. They will just be based on basic PAF, PAF, pattern applied for pickups. I'd imagine this is a 7k output, that's about an 7.5k output, this will be about 8.5k. Nothing spectacular, but it doesn't mean they're rubbish, they actually sound okay to me. So that's that. I'm going to blob on now. I'm going to get the last 2 pots in there, and that should be the electrics done. If we need another squirt of switch cleaner, we'll get some in at the top. And get these back in, get the knobs back on, and that will be absolutely fine. So the next time we see the guitar, we can move on to sorting out the frets. Stay tuned. I'll be back soon. So that's the electrics all sorted, put back into the guitar. Everything's working absolutely fine. We're now going to move on to the frets and the nuts. Now, I've been able to have a look at these frets, and the end one, compared to all the others, the last one, is really, really low. But that is not unusual, because with that being low, it doesn't affect anything else. Once we get past this one, if we're fretting there, it can be low anyway. So it's basically the opposite of a 0 fret, whereas a 0 fret at this end where the nut would be higher than the rest, it's actually lower than the rest. So we don't count that as a low fret. We don't count this as high. So we've got 2 high frets down this end, and we've got a high fret down at this end. Now, my concern was, the reason I was going to level was these 3 frets all have wear, and if I took anything off there, any material, I would be getting them quite a bit lower. It means we've got to lower the whole lot. But I've decided in hindsight that amount of wear on there is not bad enough to warrant a complete fret level. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to tidy up these 3 frets from this end. I'm not going to remove any height, but I'm just going to slightly recrown these frets, and I'm going to fix the 2 high ones down this end, so it's not as intensive a job as I initially thought it was going to be. So that's good news for the owner. It looks like this end fret here has actually been filed flat, or flatter if you want to have a good look in that, because it's quite a bit flatter than the others, and it certainly is lower because it's got a flat top. So unless someone's been hammering the high notes non-stop up their end, that fret has been altered. I will slightly recrown that. So there's 4 frets I need to work on and adjust. Once that's done, I'll obviously be coating the fingerboard in mineral oil, as I mentioned, and I will be basically reprofiling these 3 frets down here, these 2 or 3 up this end. So really we've got about 6 to work on. I'm not going to add anything to the job, it doesn't need to be added, so and it's going to save me time as well, which is brilliant. So I'm going to get the neck taped up, I'm going to get these frets worked on, and once that's done I'll come back, we'll get some mineral oil on there. We're going to remove this nut and we are going to replace it with a Graphtec nut, which means I've got to carve that to shape. It's about 1 millimetre wider and probably 1 millimetre higher than it needs to be. I will get that on and we'll get that carved, shaped and blah 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 blah. So that's going to take up to an hour doing one of these, because it's precision cut and blah blah blah. But I am going to crack on because I've got a lot to do. I do want this one done for the weekend because it will give the owner something to play, because he actually has 2 guitars. He bought both to me. One's having a refret and this one is just having all this cosmetic work done, get it back up to a, well, we're going to give it an intensive setup, get it up to a good level of playability. The frets are a little bit flat. I would still probably recommend a reprofiling of a whole lot, but to save some money we're not going to do that this time. I could just whiz across there. Any that are a little bit flat on the top I could just slightly reprofile with a curved file, rather than just go for the intensive complete fret level and blah 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 blah. It's still going to stand the guitar in really good stead. It's going to be uber playable for the years to come. And why go doing work on it that we don't need to do right away? So we're going to crack on with that. I'll come back and give you an update again later. Excuse me. So I've done the 5 frets this end. Well, the 3 needed attention. These 2 need a little bit after. So I've recrowned these 3 frets at the end, touched up these 2 edges where we're a little bit low, and I'm now moving on to frets 18 and 20. This one's unbelievable. Fret 22 here is so low it defies belief. It is, I mean, it's half a mil low. There's no point it being there. And it's not that fret 21 is high, because it isn't, because fret 20 is high. Here, if you listen to rock. And that's the one I'm going to be levelling now. 19's okay. A little bit higher there. 18 is also high. Listen to 18. So we've got 1, 2 frets high. That's 18 and 20 there. 21 isn't showing as high because it's level with all the other frets, but 22 is so low. But it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't matter because you can only fret this one note there, so it doesn't really matter. But I would personally, I would normally recommend we change that. I've not got it in this instance because it isn't going to affect the guitar and the way it plays, but I know sometimes the last fret is a little bit lower than the rest of them, which is absolutely fine, but this is quite a lot lower. I would not have thought that was normal, so I think someone's actually had a go at this fret because it's almost flat at these ends here. There's no height on it at all, so that is a little bit worrying for me, but as long as it plays right, end of the day, that's all that matters. There's no material on it there at all. Someone's had a go at this in the past. Absolutely, I guarantee that. Someone has taken some material off this. Unless someone's just been playing this high note non-stop. Just that note's only been played on the guitar, because this wear on here is... it's half a millimetre. That part of that fret is half a millimetre lower than the one next to it. Maybe I'll get a fret and I'll replace that one. I don't know yet, I'll see. But I've got 18 and 20 to do. I will go with a flat file, number 4 cut, just to take the main material off, always keeping the file clean. And I will finish off with the profiler. I'll go with the 3mm side there, and I'll finish off with the 2.5mm side, which is there. Then I'll give it a polish. So yeah, very, very strange to see this so low. There's no material on this edge at all. I'm going to see if I've got some low but wide fret wire, and I might just replace that one. So let's see how we go. It's a little bit, I don't know, I'll see what the owner thinks. So we're now getting back, or getting close to having this guitar completed. It needs a bit of a wipe over. I've got some good guitar polish I'm going to give it a spray with shortly. There are a few marks in there. They've been there quite a long time, the looks of it. But we'll get this all looking fantastic. Just give it a quick wipe over now. I have, since you last saw anything, I have been and polished all of the, well, all the frets have been levelled. I have re-crowned and polished the frets. The guitar as it stands now looks like this. If you want to zoom in on the frets, you see those three at that end closest to you have been re-crowned, they've been smoothed and they've been re-crowned, and all of the frets have been polished. If you want to zoom in on them, up to you. Pause it, zoom, blah blah blah. All these all been polished to a very high, shiny, smooth finish. You now see there's no nut on there. I'm going to replace the nut. Reason being, the original nut was some hard plastic, may even be a composite material. Not very good. I mean, look at the slots. If you want to zoom in there, look at the slots on there. They're all about the same size. Some composite plastic or just some real hard plastic. Not very nice at all. We are going with a, as shown before, Graphtec. But an oversized one for those aficionados out there. This is a PT-60, PT-6060-00. It says it's a 1/4 inch, so it's just over 6mm, a little bit tight. I will have to shape this, just remove a little bit there for it to fit the slot. It is at least 0.5 millimetre wide on each edge, but the slots are cut pretty much to the size that this should be. It is also too high, it's a good 0.5 millimetre too high. I am not going to remove anything from the bottom. I'm just going to remove this little bit of this edge just so it fits in the slot on the guitar. I'm going to glue it in. I'm going to do all the shaping with the nut on the guitar. Now, show you where we are. You can see where it's a little bit wider. I will get the width right before I glue it in. You see there, it's a little bit wider than it needs to be. See if I can just get you a back view there. Look to where the nut is, both sides. You'll see it's a little bit wider than it needs to be, but if I help me shape it better, how's that? So I will be shaping that nut. I will also have to deepen the nut slots there. I will be using my nut slotting files, my Hosco ones. You've seen these before. Blah blah blah. I would much prefer to shape this from the top than from the bottom, because if I'm sanding the bottom, I'm probably not going to get a super even finish on that. I want it super flat. The old nut came out really well. Just gave it a little tap with a nylon hammer, slight couple of taps on the top to loosen it, and just knocked it back. One little knock, and it was done. We have got a nice surface to be gluing onto there. Don't even need to be sanded. Beautiful. So I'm going to crack on with that. I will also be putting the new strings on. I'm not going to film anything else on this guitar. I'm going to come back when it is finished because I've got too much other stuff to do. I promised the lad I would get this done for him for the weekend. He's coming to collect it on Sunday. I want the guitar all done. I've got other things to be getting on with. So next time you see this guitar, it will be done. I'm sure we'll have it all in tune. I've all the bridge cleaned up and on there and everything. So stay tuned. I'll be back shortly. And here we are, all done. Guitar looks fabulous. Virtually the same model as the Antoria I recently sold. This coming, it needed a good looking at. I've had all the electrics out, cleaned all the pots, checked all the solder, everything's fine. We'll put all the pots back in, cleaned up the bridge of the tailpiece, checked the pickups, set the height on the pickups. I've done a fret level. I've re-profiled 5 frets down this end, done 2 or 3 up this end. They're all now highly polished, and I've put on a new nut. We've got it cut nice and low there. It's a Graphtec nut. Show you from that side. Don't know if you can see how low it is. I wonder if I could just get in without knocking the stand. See what I can do there, and you might just get. Here you go. What do you think to that? We've got a set of Ernie Ball 942s on there. Slinky Pinks, I think they're known as. All the tuners have been tightened. Back, sides, front. Make sure they're all right. I'm just going to nip up the strap pins, and that's it. Guitar is back together. Strings are nice and stretched, nice good action on there. And and all in all, not a bad guitar. Now, I've been in and out of the workshop today. I'm not spending a lot of time in here at the moment because I've had other things I've got other things happening in my life. I can't spend that much time in here, but I did set myself a goal to get this one started and finished today. And it is, the guy is coming for it on Sunday because he has nothing else to play. I have 2 of his guitars here at the moment, and I said I would dedicate Thursday to this, so I've had enough. I'm tired. I've had a long day. My wife's not well. I've been looking after her. I've been doing all the shopping, taking the dog out, tidying the house, cooking, cleaning, what have you, as a good husband should. So that's it. I am tired now. I'm knocking off. I've finished. This project is now finished. I think the frets look magnificent. I'll give you another look again, because these 3 frets down this end were all gnarly. They were all grooved. Got them all nice and tidy. We had to remove a lot of material. We still managed to maintain the levelness of the frets. The action I've got a tad higher than I normally would. I've gone to just under 2 mil on the low E, 1.6, 1.7 on the high E, above the 12th fret. Good action for these guitars. You don't need a low action. Got a little bit of relief in the neck there. Truss rod and everything works fine. New Graphtec nut, new strings. Absolutely beautiful. So that's it. We're done. Project is finished. I do apologise for the graininess of the video. It's because we're at night time. I don't have proper lighting in here. It's just the way it is. Let's pull up with it as I do. So that's it. Project finished. So as always, until the next one, be good to each other, and I will see you soon.